Good morning, and thank you for joining us for Unscripted on 13 Plus. We do want to go ahead and get right to Washington, D.C., where you can see that these recovery efforts are still underway in the Potomac River here. You can see law enforcement still on scene. They've been on scene for over 24 hours now. We know that this crash, this plane collision, it happened Wednesday night. Over 300 first responders responded to these icy cold conditions, these waters, trying to pull any survivors from the water. We later learned that there were no survivors. At this time, the last update, we do know that 40 bodies have been pulled from the water. We know that this is the deadliest U.S. air disaster in nearly 25 years. As I mentioned, the crash happened on Wednesday night in our nation's capital. This was after that American Airlines jet collided with the United States Army Black Hawk helicopter. Again, no survivors at this time, but as you can see, recovery efforts are underway in that river there. We do know that the plane was found in 3 different pieces. The black boxes, 2 black boxes have been recovered. Crews are on scene. They're just searching for wreckage now, anything they can find to help this investigation move forward. Meanwhile, we know lawmakers who have long advocated for additional flights out of Reagan National to their hometowns are reflecting on this crash after the route from Wichita to D.C. It was just added last year. Recently, lawmakers have cleared the way for even more flights to come into Reagan, and airports experts, they say it's already squeezed to its limits. The 5 new routes approved by Congress and announced in October include San Antonio, San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, and Las Vegas. Now, we do want to mention that at this time, the FAA has actually restricted helicopter flight paths around Reagan National for the time being. We do know that, as I mentioned, a lot of eyes are on these different flight paths, and the amount of flights and just traffic that comes in and out of Reagan National Airport. National investigative reporter Joyce Sturman, she looks at close calls and the constant congestion that have made safety concerns an issue past and present.
And I might fly in and out of there 2 or 3 times in a couple of days. It can get crowded.
Doug Rice knows the challenges of flying into Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. better than most. As a retired airline pilot, he's flown in and out of what's known as DCA countless times.
When Marine One is coming or going, you've got 3 helicopters plus the support ships plus the police helicopters around it. So you might have 6 or 8 helicopters all coming up and down the river, all very close formation.
He calls it a helicopter highway, cutting right through some of the country's most complex and restricted airspace, with police and military helicopters sharing the sky with commercial airliners over the nation's capital. The close quarters can cause disaster, as evidenced by Wednesday's crash. But federally collected data shows the potential for chaos has long been known. Our national investigative team found a 2013 report from a pilot approaching the same runway with a helicopter nearby. As we began our turn from base to final, they said, the helicopter made what looked like a right turn directly into our flight path, the pilot indicating they narrowly avoided a collision. Other reports from pilots to the feds show at least 27 close encounters at Washington National, as the airport at times handles as many as 1 flight each minute.
You can't really squeeze much more than that in there.
But with congestion comes concern about safety. Still, last year, many in Congress began fighting to add more flights into the mix, calling established limits on Reagan archaic.
People who want to come back and forth, or simply families who want to come visit the nation's capital. This makes it unnecessarily difficult for each of them.
Difficult also for members of Congress who critics have pointed out would benefit from adding more flights to help get back and forth from work to their districts. But key lawmakers close to D.C. argued against the move. Last March, senators from Maryland and Virginia, including Tim Kaine, wrote their colleagues calling DCA overburdened, citing high-profile incidents and near misses as the reason not to add more flights. Still, the bill passed, with the FAA saying more flights could be safely managed.
And I've been praying that there wouldn't be something like last night, but kind of dreading in my heart that there would be.
Sometimes politics looks very narrowly at a subject, and in this case, Washington National needs a broad view.
John Golia is a former NTSB board member, closely watching the ripples of Wednesday's crash. They began with the dozens of flight diversions our team found, with passengers from cities including Atlanta, Charlotte, Nashville, Seattle, and more all rerouted. Those are relatively simple fixes in the wake of a crisis. But Golia says solving the complex issues and competing interests surrounding Reagan National will be much harder to solve.
And maybe this accident will now provide the momentum to take this whole airspace issue in and around DC and put it on the top of the table, because we've been putting Band-Aids on it for 40 years.
And we do want to go ahead and take a live look outside on your Friday morning. A little bit of snow left up on Mount Bigelow there, but I would almost think, Corey, that this is going to be melted after this weekend because of the warm conditions that we are expecting. We have 13 First Alert meteorologist Corey Coates with us this morning. And Corey, we haven't seen temperatures like we're going to see this weekend in months.
Yeah, it's been a while that we've felt this warmer temperatures because we've been in really
It's been cold.
It's been downright cold. And, I mean, we had some spots. I think Vail saw some snow. Tucson only got up to the low 50s, which was the coolest we've had in terms of highs since, February last year, so nearly a year. But the tides are changing. We're going to see a big warm-up. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to go from putting on that winter gear to, you might be able to use the pool. Okay, it's 52 Wednesday. It was our coolest high since February 10th. And how about this? No, this is not a typo. We are going to see temperatures reach 85 on Tuesday, which would forecasted to break the record of 84. So we're going from 52, the coolest in a year, to record-breaking warmth on Tuesday. That's a 33-degree warm-up in under a week. Pretty crazy stuff. So it's not just be Tuesday. We're going to be threatening historic warmth. Sunday, Monday as well through Tuesday. Sunday through Tuesday, 80 degrees plus. The middle column is that record, and here are the odds of seeing the record on that right column. Low chance of doing it on Sunday, better than a coin flip chance on Monday, and a 75% chance of tying or breaking a record. Here's what that looks like throughout the region today through Tuesday. That warm-up, just for reference, 58 yesterday in Tucson. We're warming up 10 degrees on today on your Friday, but it doesn't even get close to stopping there. That warm-up continues through the weekend, 70s and maybe 80s, and then the mid-80s by Monday and Tuesday. Well, here's the reason why. That low pressure off to the east, that cooled us down and gave us that rain and some snow is moving off, replacing on a high pressure that will continue to strengthen through this weekend and continue to center itself over us through the weekend and through early next week, continuing to warm us up. That's why you're going to feel that warm up. Here are your temperatures right now, warming up here to 40, I should say 42. They're a little behind there. 39, but really it's in the low 40s in Tucson, 35 Wilcox, 32 Douglas, 34 in Nogales. A lot of 30s and 40s out there. Here's your high temperature change from yesterday. 10 degrees warmer in Tucson, really feeling that warm up out eastward. Tombstone, 16 degrees warmer, and this is the highs you'll be feeling. 60s across the board, everyone in the 60-degree party. 68 in Tucson, 69 in Nogales. I mean, you can't rule out maybe some spots getting to 72 with those clear skies. And here's what your Friday night in Tucson will look like. 62 by 6, by 9, 52, and by midnight in the mid-40s with clear skies. And here's what that weekend will look like in a little more detail, a little more spots on there. 76 tomorrow in Tucson, 80 on Sunday. I mean, I'm going to hit the pool. Carson, I think you said you would.
I know. I want to try to go to the pool.
Sunday's probably the better 2 days, a little bit warmer. But it's tough to complain. Look at that, 70s, 80s, almost every day is. Everyone's going to be 70 at least Saturday and Sunday. Pretty awesome stuff to see. And here's now your 13 First Alert 7-day forecast. Just look at that. It's really nice.
I know. I'll take it. These are, perfect conditions for me.
We'd love to have rain.
Rain would be nice.
If we're not going to have rain, at least it'd be warm, right?
Exactly. We'll take the sunshine, the warm temps.
Yes.
Okay.
85. Wow.
Is this is obviously high for this time of year, correct?
Yeah, so the average this time of the year is the upper 60s.
Okay.
So today's
Dang.
right at average, and then we're just blowing right past that. So we'll be near record highs, in fact, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Okay. We'll have to see if we break a record.
We'll see.
Awesome. Thank you, Corey. Now, if you don't have any plans for your weekend, the gym show season is back. A couple of gym shows opening. One opened last night. That is the 22nd Street Gym Show. It happened yesterday, not last night. That is off of I-10 and 22nd Street. It is only one of the big 3 gym shows open to the public. I love this time of year. All of the cool finds at the gym shows, all the different locations. It is just so neat to see what people have, what the jewelers are selling, all the different fossils. We know that this gym show, it's in a large heated tent. It stretches half a mile, housing various fossils, meteorites, jewelry, beads, and art. There's more than 100 vendors to visit, and some of them even come here to buy from others. While the event itself is free, a reminder this morning, parking is $5 to $10. The event runs daily from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening. It runs until February 16th, so if you can't head out this weekend, you still have some time. You can find all of this information up on our website at KOLD.com. Speaking of our website, we do want to remind you that we always have live, local, late-breaking events on air, online, and on our 13 News mobile app. So take a look at your screen here. If you take a screenshot of this, or you can just scan that QR code on your screen, you're able to download our 13 News mobile app. And what's super cool about this is you can customize your alerts. You get notifications on top stories. We give you the very latest updates, push alerts, live coverage as well if a press briefing is happening or a special report. All you have to do, like I mentioned, scan that QR code on your screen, or you can go to your app store, search KOLD, whether it be Android App Store or Apple App Store. You'll be able to download that app. And we'll take one last live look outside on your Friday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Going to be absolutely gorgeous out there. We will be right back here for another episode of Unscripted on Monday at 9:30. Be safe this weekend.